speaking of teams that will be departing the Pac-12, is Chip Kelly safe? He beats USC and it's all good, and everybody that was calling for his head after the loss to Arizona State has just totally had a change of feelings. What's our read on the situation in Westwood?
I think he's good. I don't think you can fire him because I think they're gonna go 8 wins. I think he's played 3 different quarterbacks. The defense looks great. Like I don't think you can. I mean, you can do anything you want. I get it, but
I totally get the argument for firing Chip Kelly, and it goes basically like this: hasn't embraced the boosters, hasn't cultivated that NIL that they think they're going to need to compete. Very senior laden team. You're losing a ton of good players off this team. I don't think Chip Kelly can go compete in the Big Ten. Now, I don't really buy that argument because I think it's on the school to cultivate a lot of the NIL type stuff, not the coach, right? That's your own infrastructure. Could you recruit high school better? Yeah, I think so. And probably should be expected to a little bit. But like Kelly has done a really good job out of the portal repeatedly. He seems to find undervalued assets and win games with them. So if you're deciding to fire Chip Kelly, you can't do it based on the last 2 games, right? You either think this guy's the right guy to lead you into the Big Ten or you don't. It's kind of reductivist to be like, let's can you beat USC and Cal? Like, how is that determining the future of your program? That's silly.
I have no idea. It's UCLA is an athletic department that I don't know how to read it. I don't know what their goals are. I don't know what they want to accomplish. Like, I don't know. Like I don't know what their place is in the Big Ten. I don't know what they want their place to be. I don't know how much they're willing to spend on a coach. And like you're saying, but it's not just the coach who's responsible for NIL. You have to have buy-in from the top down to get the money invested into your program. Although it certainly helps if you have a coach who is very much an excellent salesman and who's happy to glad hand with boosters. I don't know if Chip does that. So I don't know. I truly have no idea what goes on there.
That's what I wonder, like how irate whatever fan base UCLA has, like, are they that upset? Even if they lost the last game of the season, are they calling for it?
A lot of them online are calling for it because I think that like online, the fans are like, yeah, this is a house of cards. It's going to crumble when we lose this crop of players. But you know what? A lot of people last year before UCLA attacked the transfer portal thought they were going to go 4-8, and they're probably going to go 8-4 with 3 quarterback injuries. So
what about the possibility they go to the Big Ten? It might be easier. Now they're going, like, if they were in the Big Ten this year, don't you think they'd be in contention for the 3rd best team?
4th. I think
3rd best team. No,
you don't think they're on the same playing field as Penn State?
No,
I think Penn State.
No, I think Penn State's
insanely
better.
overrated. By the way,
that's fine. You can be wrong.
I can
all
see
you
it.
Want.
Like what's their schedule?
UCLA's defense is about on par with Penn State's.
Like UCLA is clearly better than every team in the Big Ten West by like a touchdown because none of those teams can score at all. And UCLA, I think, would score a little bit. And the defense is just as good as anybody in that league.
Would UCLA score a little bit? Their offense isn't exactly.
I mean, like I think that they would score
beat
some.
Penn State.
No, I would have.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't score. They'd score 10 points on Penn State at most.
Yeah, Penn State.
How many points would Penn State score? It would be 10-9.
It'd be 14-10. Penn State would win.
They have a very tough schedule next year, by the way.
UCLA?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they got they have to go to LSU. They host Oregon. They're at Penn State. They host Minnesota. They're at Rutgers, so that's kind of a gimme. They're at Nebraska. We'll see if Nebraska can find a quarterback. They host Iowa, at Washington, which, I mean, Washington actually could be really down next year with all these guys they lose. And who knows if DeBoer's there anymore. Host USC, and then they host Fresno as well, which is a difficult game. I mean, that's a tough schedule.
Maybe that's an argument to keep Chip. Maybe that's an argument to keep Chip.
That's kind of the Gators' argument to keep Napier.
Yeah, you don't want to bring in a new coach and be like, here you go. Go 3-9. Get off to a great start.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Martin Jarmon came from Boston College. He was at Ohio State before that, right? I don't know.
Little Jonathan Smith action there.
Jonathan Smith's a hot name across the board, right?
He can coach.
Well, yeah, because he can coach, and also you're selling the like, hey, Jonathan, I know Oregon State is your school, but let's look into the future.
Tapped.
Yeah, like it might be time to go ahead and get on out here.
There are
Maybe
certain
Jonathan
jobs,
can get
man.
equity in that $200 million they're getting though.
There are certain jobs if you win at, especially if you don't have some elite quarterback, if you win at like a place like an Oregon State, I'm just going to stamp you as like knowing what the hell you're doing, because we've seen what bad Oregon State looks like, and it is dreadful. And it's not like Jonathan Smith has had a great quarterback there. I mean, their quarterbacks are kind of somewhere between average to bad, and they still win a whole lot of ball games. Like, he knows what he's doing, so stamp him.
Yeah, his
Yeah, but
quarterbacks, as in he's used multiple quarterbacks in each of the last 2 years.
Yeah, like I'm very mindful of, are you hiring a guy who just had like the best quarterback in school history type thing?
Right.
A&M is probably pretty mindful of this too after what happened with Jimbo. So, like the fact that Smith is winning without a great quarterback. Same thing with Leipold at Kansas. I mean, he gave Kansas State hell for like 3 quarters on Saturday night with a third stringer.
I will say, I'm not saying this about Jonathan Smith because I agree with you, but there are a lot of Nebraska fans who might push back at the idea that if you can win at Oregon State, you could probably win anywhere.
That was Mike Riley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won with
weird
plenty.
Well,
of
they
mediocre
fired a
quarterbacks.
coach making 9 wins a year, which wasn't the smartest for Nebraska either. A lot of things were mishandled.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
that's-
By him too.
Yeah.
right? Exactly.